to the stress of weddings, how do you guys deal with that? Because again, the high stress environment that is, and also the high demand that the client maybe puts on you. Any tips you have on how to deal with that on the day of or lead up to? Or
That's a good question.
Yeah, that is. I would say we try to go to bed early the previous night, so a lot of it is the prep work. So before the wedding is, make sure you eat a healthy dinner the night before the wedding. Waking up early so you have a lot of time getting to the venue. I mean, just arriving to the venue early. We like to get there anywhere from an hour to a half hour early, and that takes a lot of the stress off.
Yeah.
Prior planning prevents poor performance.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's all planning pretty much, I would say.
And other than that, just, when you're in the moment, just take a step back and breathe.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah, make sure you're breathing.
Yeah. I did one wedding ever. It was my cousin's wedding. He didn't even want photos. His mom said, just have your uncle and your cousin take the photos because you're going to regret not having photos of the wedding. He's like, I absolutely don't even care about people with photos. So it should have been the most low stress thing ever for me.
Yeah.
I was sweating the entire time. I'm like, it's like, okay, get the cake shot, get the cake shot, get the kiss, get the kiss, get the kiss. Like those once in a lifetime moments that you're not going to say, can you do that again?
Yeah.
kind of thing.
I feel like a lot of the pressure comes from ourselves.
Yeah, and over the years we learned how to manage that too. Like I would say now we get into a flow state. So like I don't even know if I'm consciously there. Like it's the flow state. I'm just doing it. Yeah, I just do it. It's like the camera's like an extension of my hand, and like the lens is like an extension of my eyes.
Yeah.
So it's just all natural and just works together really well.
We were talking about gear earlier. We'll talk more about gear here in a little bit, but I think that's why a lot of professionals don't change gear very often. As a hobbyist, and a gearhead, I'm like constantly looking at the next new thing, and I'm always buying and selling stuff. And it's amazing how many professionals are still using the same gear they've used for 10 years.
Wow.
Because A, they don't want to make the investment, and B, they look at it as I know this camera inside and out. I know all the functionality, and I can be in the flow state and not worry about like where's that button, that kind of stuff. What is it about? Is there anything about weddings in particular that like aligns to a passion of yours, or is like there's those I'm not sure what the right word is, but there's those intangibles about the day of being a part of that momentous day that really excites you, or that really has you aligns to why you're continue to photograph weddings?
We like it because there's true love that we capture between these brides and these grooms, and we develop relationships. Like the day of the wedding, we develop relationships with all the family members. And what's really kind of sad is at the end of the day, it's like that's when we say our goodbyes. It's almost like we become part of their families for the day.
It is bittersweet because it's like you feel like you're a part of it, and you finally learn like everybody's names, and it's like, oh, I understand who you are, and then it's like, bye, I may never see you.
I want to work with you again, and sometimes we do. Like sometimes a sister will get married or something, and then we'll get to work with the same family again, and we love it.
Yeah, I would say those connections for sure. Like that's amazing to have, and then just capturing people's stories and the best day of their lives. Freezing
moments in time, like it's a responsibility and it's a challenge, but it makes me feel so good. After a wedding, I'm usually pumped. I usually don't even go to sleep until 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Especially because you probably want to look at the photos right away.
Yeah, we do.
One moment where the kid is like doing this thing or doing that, and you're like, oh, I hope I got it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, yes.
And that's what we do. As soon as we get home, we back everything up, so we have a whole bunch of copies, back it up like 3 times, and look at the photos. It just excites us. And even after the wedding, we'll be in like physical pain. We'll
be hobbling out of our car, like barely able to stand up.
My brother was a wedding photographer for a lot of years and got away from it for that very reason. His back was just starting. He's like, I'm not sure what the longevity is, and switched to seniors. And also is in Texas where there's a lot of money. So the two of those kind of worked nicely hand in hand for him. So I am kind of curious about do a lot of wedding photographers then continue on to do family portraits and family work so they can continue to follow that family's journey? Or is that something you've thought about adding to the mix, or do you do?
So we've actually have started to do that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we didn't used to do families very much, but I would say as our couples are growing their families, they have been reaching out to us like, hey, like we're expecting, can we do maternity? We want family pictures. And so we've definitely branched out into that more, because it's hard not to when you build such a great relationship with them and you're excited for them and you want to capture all their new milestones.
And just from a business perspective, I mean, you've already captured that customer. So retention is easier than finding a new customer.
Yeah.
Place, right?
Yep, definitely.
On the other side, I know a lot of wedding photographers also do engagement photos, and they prefer to have and try to encourage their couples to let you be their engagement photographer too, just so again, rapport building, so the day of the wedding.
Yeah.
Just talk about that for a little bit.
Yeah.
It really helps with that,
Yeah.
with the rapport building, and just getting a feel for how the couples are in front of the camera.
Yeah, because like everybody, a lot of people have never been in front of a professional camera before, and if they have, it's for their senior portraits. So getting in front of that camera can be scary for people, and I feel like not only does it help us learn how to pose you, because there's different, sometimes you have a height difference that requires a little bit of practice on our end, but it's also really nice for the couples to be able to just get comfortable in front of the camera and not feel awkward, and just kind of get those nerves out of their system before the wedding day.
And we like to get them in front of the camera, but let them do their own thing too. Like capture that natural, spontaneous moments.
Yeah.
When I started doing, again, I'm a hobbyist photographer that occasionally gets paid. That's the way I like to describe it. But I think back to my senior photos. You mentioned seniors, and at the torture I must have put my senior photographer through, because I blinked every single time. I feel like my eyes were very sensitive to flash.
Yeah.
It's like, can you try hard to not blink? And I'm like, I'm trying. I don't look like a weirdo with my eyes. Like,
But that's common with blue eyes though, and that's something that, sometimes comes up, in photos. So it helps us for the wedding day too, to be able to know, okay, I understand that your eyes are a little bit more sensitive, and we had to switch it up during the engagement session, so we're going to go into the wedding day already prepared for that.
See, even I learned something new today. Well, I'm learning a lot new today, but the blue eyes thing, I never knew it was a blue eyes thing, that it was the more sensitive to flash.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You got those brown eyes, so you're good, right?
Yeah. It's the one pro to them.
Going back to the business side of photography, or wedding photography in particular, I would imagine there's some built-in benefits of being able to, weddings are typically planned 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, 2 years in advance. So how is that from a business perspective? And there's got to be some peace of mind in knowing that you've got income for the next 6, 8, 12, 18 months, but then there's also maybe some added stress there of having to book that far in advance, and constantly, the churn and the work of the business is always about booking 18 months from now.
Yeah.
Talk about that a little bit for me, or what are your thoughts on that security that provides, or challenges that provides unique to wedding photography?
Yeah, I guess kind of a little bit of both. It's nice to know that you have like a set schedule.
Yeah, because you can look, a year to 2 years in advance, and know what's coming in. Good for forecasting. So
Yeah.
definitely, yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it would ever be applicable to us, but I would say the only thing is it kind of keeps you in one place. So like if you're ever thinking about, I want to move across the country, but I can't do that for another 2 years because I have all these weddings.
And then at some point you got to make the cut, right? Because otherwise, then you're perpetually stuck in.
Yeah. You got to plan far ahead if you're going to do something life changing. But right now we're staying in the Pittsburgh area for sure.
I'm more of a long-term planner anyway, so it works out well for me because I'm not a spur-of-the-moment type of person. So.
Yeah, I added that question this morning because I was thinking about just the idea of like other niches of photography, whether it's somewhat event photography, but definitely with seniors, definitely with like mini sessions and doing stuff with families and portraits. They're a lot shorter time frame in the booking process.
Yeah.
And the churn is like more immediate, and having to book stuff out, and again, there's pluses and minuses to all things in life, and both of those things. But anyway, just a question that kind of popped into the mix this morning. So, what are the biggest things you wish people knew about wedding photography, or would better appreciate as wedding photographers? Maybe on the client side. Let's focus on that.
I would say definitely on the social media side, because you know, with social media, you're up against an algorithm. So every like, every share, that you have no idea how much that helps us. It helps us tremendously, especially because we have an algorithm that.
We had a client, and we've done her engagement, her wedding, family pictures, pretty much everything for her, and she always shares our posts, and we appreciate it so much. And I always thank her, but the other day she did it again, and I messaged her, I'm like, thank you so much, like you have no idea how much that means to us. And she responded like, I know it's not much, but hopefully it helps. And it's just like, no, like that is amazing. Like,
yeah, it's a lot.
Because you're introducing us to new people that might have never heard of us before, or you know, maybe they had thought like, oh, I need to get these pictures done, and then it's just like, here we are. So that really helps for sure. Another thing I think I would want to add to that is how much of like, and I feel like I can speak to every photographer about this, but how much of your soul goes into it. So it's not just, this is my job, I'm gonna just, you know, take some pictures. I feel like every single photo we take, it's like our entire soul is into that. Like it's not just a job, it's a passion for sure.
Yeah, it truly is.
Yeah.
My brother's big pet peeve is always the amount of money spent on other aspects of the wedding versus the wanting to spend on the photographer. You know, so all the flowers and all everything else, and he's like, all the stuff that's fleeting, the cake, it's gone. You know, after that day, pretty much gone. And the photos are the only thing that lasts forever.
Yeah, and not only that, but they get more valuable as time goes.
Because I mean, we're doing this, we're freezing moments in time, not just for the couple, but for generations after that, you know?
Yeah.
So that, you know, generations after can hopefully look back at these photos and just freezing that moment in time for them. It's the only thing you have left after a wedding is the photos.
And videos, yeah.
And the videos.
Yeah, so thinking about, you know, he was always like, okay, so you want to get the cheapest person possible, or the one that's not going to capture that effectively, or is that you look at it as a long-term investment versus, again, the flowers, the cake, or scale back some of those things and invest more in your photographer?
Definitely. Yeah, because photography, it just gets more and more valuable as time goes.
You talked about the social media factor being on the plus side of it. Is there challenges as a wedding photographer with social media now, especially with, like again, we pointed about cell phones before, and how quickly others are taking photos of the day and posting immediately? And has that changed your business model or your approach to the day, or approach to, I mean, your photos are obviously way better than what they're going to get here.
Yeah. I mean, I would say, you know, the way social media is going, it's almost turning into like a full-time job just to be on social media, and it's like, I want to be a photographer, you know, I want to be capturing, but I understand the work that needs to go into it.
Yeah.
But there is a lot that goes into it, like the analytics and the time to post and
Content
all that.
creation.
Which is still fun, like especially, you know, creating TikTok videos. It's still using that creative drive that we have, but I want to focus like all of my attention on my clients.
Like, are you finding that on the day of a wedding, you're pulling out the cell phone more to capture some quick little video things to make into shorts, or you're pausing mid-wedding to get some quick edits done to get up on social media to be more timely than you maybe had before, because you're, I don't want to say competing with the social media posters, but...
Well, I mean, we definitely try to do behind the scenes just on our cell phones, just so we can make TikTok reels. I definitely don't want to rush our quality of photos, though. So
or pause the whole flow of things.
Yeah. So we definitely don't edit anything like on site, like during the wedding day, just because we really like taking our time and making sure colors are as accurate as possible, and you know, blemish removal if need be. But I understand what you're saying, though, because a lot of people are just super eager to post their wedding pictures, and most people do. And that's the good thing about having guests that use their cell phones, is you kind of have a sneak peek of your wedding day before you get the professional sneak peeks.
So let's talk a little bit about any fun experiences or interesting stories you have, because I think every wedding photographer probably has a whole list of interesting, funny, unique stories, experiences that have happened on wedding day or leading up to, or even probably engagement shoots. But any stories to share with us?
Yeah. So